You ever notice how much of our stress, anxiety, and exhaustion comes from trying to make something work that was never meant to fit? Trying to chase people, places, and opportunities that can't even see us clearly. We spend so much energy proving, performing, and persuading that we forget we were already born worthy. Some of us are trying to buy our way into rooms that our souls were never meant to enter. We confuse proximity with purpose. The truth is, you don't have to beg to be loved. You don't have to convince people to respect you, like you, or include you. You don't have to shrink yourself, censor yourself, or rehearse a version of yourself to be accepted. Stop chasing what doesn't see you. Stop forcing what doesn't fit. Start aligning with what already welcomes you. Radical welcome means you received as your full, authentic, imperfect, brilliant, growing self without needing to edit your truth. It's a space where you don't have to translate your experiences. You don't have to justify your emotions. You don't have to apologize for taking up space. There's a difference between being tolerated and being welcomed. Radical welcome says you belong here, not because you're perfect, but because you're human. It's the kind of environment that allows you to exhale, where you can laugh too loud, dream too big, question too deeply, and still be safe. Where your mistakes don't exile you, they evolve you. That's the kind of community, friendship, and workplace we all deserve. One where grace lives. Because when grace is present, growth becomes possible. When we are all welcomed fully, we stop surviving and start thriving. Think about the people and places that let you show up as your whole self. Where you can stumble without fear. Where you can say, I'm not okay today. And no one weaponizes your vulnerability. Those are sacred spaces. Those are your people. They see your rough edges and still choose you. They see your potential even when you can't. They don't need you to perform. They need you to just be. And here's the reality. You deserve that. You are worthy of that. You don't have to earn grace. You don't have to buy belonging. You don't have to negotiate your worth. Stop auditioning for roles in other people's stories when you were born to write your own. I often ask people that I'm coaching, or friends, or employees, or folks that I'm consulting with, what would you do if you weren't afraid? If you know me, you know I always ask that question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? But lately, I realized something. Before you can answer that, we first have to ask, what are you afraid of? And a lot of people want to act tough and say, I don't feel fear, I'm not afraid of anything. What are you afraid of? Because so many of us don't even recognize our fears. We just live inside them. We make decisions around them. We decorate our prisons and call them comfort zones. Before we can be encouraged to overcome fear, we have to be able to name it. We have to locate where the terror lives in our bodies, in our memories, in our stories. Maybe you're afraid of failing. Maybe you're afraid of success. Maybe you're afraid of being seen or of being forgotten. Maybe you're afraid to love again because the last time you did, it hurt so much. But fear unacknowledged is fear in control. You can't heal what you won't face. And sometimes the things that keep us stuck are our limitations. They're our lack of self-awareness. Where are your blind spots? Once you name your fear, you take away its mystery. You begin to recognize how it shows up in your hesitation, in your excuses, your perfectionism, your silence. And only then can you begin to walk in freedom. So before you ask, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? First whisper to yourself, what am I afraid of? That's where the breakthrough begins. Now, once you face your fear and find your space, do the work. Master the basics. Understand your role. Honor your gifts. Definitely dream big. Yes, don't neglect the discipline that prepares you for the dream. Success isn't built on shortcuts. It's built on consistency. Too many times we neglect the discipline. We neglect the consistency. And we try to get a cheat code. If you're a leader, listen deeply. If you're a healer, heal yourself as you help others. If you're a teacher, stay teachable. If you're a builder, build with integrity. Don't skip the fundamentals chasing the finish line. Everybody wants the trophy. Everybody wants the belt. But you got to master the basics, because true mastery isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than your last version. I want you to really learn about this concept of value proposition. That's your essence, your unique combination of wisdom, resilience, and gifts. Your superpower might be empathy. It might be your creativity. It might be your ability to bring calm in chaos or build bridges when others burn them. Whatever it is, that's your advantage. That's your contribution. That's what makes you valuable to your community, to your team, to the world. Stop trying to master someone else's superpower. You're trying to master someone else's craft while ignoring your own. Stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. The world doesn't need another version of them. It needs the whole version of you. When you begin to understand your value, you stop begging for appreciation. You start walking with peace, clarity, and purpose, knowing you're not the guest, you're the gift. We live in a culture that rewards performance, likes, followers, filters. Everything tells us to curate instead of connect. But the moment you stop performing and start belonging, your life changes. When you find spaces that give you grace, where you can make mistakes, be corrected with love, and grow without shame, that's where transformation happens. That's where healing begins. Radical Welcome is not about perfection. It's about participation. It's about saying you can come in even with your story, with your scars and your setbacks, because when people feel radically welcome, they don't just show up, they shine. So today, I want you to pause, breathe, and really look around your life. Look at who likes you, who celebrates you, who challenges you without breaking you, who forgives you and helps you grow. Those are your people. That's your tribe. That's your soil. You don't have to water deserts when you were built for gardens. You don't have to prove your worth when you're already born worthy. You don't have to chase spaces that won't make room for you, because the right ones already have a seat waiting. Stop forcing what doesn't fit. Stop chasing people who can't love you beyond convenience. Step fully into the spaces that reflect your worth. Master your craft, know your power, face your fears, and walk with the peace of someone who knows they're radically welcomed by grace, by purpose, and by design. Because when you stop forcing, you start flourishing. And when you start flourishing, you give everyone around you permission to do the same. This is Dr. Batts. I believe in you, even when you struggle to believe in yourself. I love you, even when you struggle to love yourself. If my voice is reaching you, this is meant for you. Share this message with someone that needs it. Share this message with someone that knows what it feels like to be unloved, that knows what it feels like to be rejected, that knows what it feels like to be pushed out, and they keep trying to force it and make themselves fit, and dealing with abuse and dealing with trauma and dealing with pain, rather than breathing, pausing, identifying their strengths and their assets, looking at the community that's ready to embrace them, finding people, places, and things, relationships that will honor them, all of them, and just being. If this message resonates, it's time for a change. Peace.